Hi guys, and welcome to this video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. In this video we're going to create a coming soon page. These are great if you're building a site for a client and you want to put something up in the meanwhile until it launches. Or if you've got a product coming up that you want to advertise and you've got a site and a domain, you can put it up to get a bit of awareness. They're just great tools to have and they're very popular nowadays. Now to do this, we're going to be using a bit of software, a text editor. It's free to download and it's called Brackets. You can download it from brackets.io. I'll put the link below this video for you. And we're also going to be using a bit of code that's already written, a bit of JavaScript for our actual countdown timer itself. We're just going to include that in our site. Because I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. So let's start. Once you've downloaded your brackets, go ahead and install it. Once you've installed it, you can go ahead and open it. It'll look like this. Or if it doesn't look like this, just go to View. You can have it however you want. I've got the dark theme. You might want to have a light theme. I prefer the dark theme personally because it makes things easier to read when I make the videos, I believe. So I just went to View and Themes there and changed it. Now for this particular build, I'm going to use an extension here which just makes it really easy. If you go to File and Extension Manager, it'll load this little window here. And this is a box of all available plugins or additions, extensions there are for brackets, and there's hundreds of them, and every one that I found is free. The one I'm going to be using today, I'm going to click on the Installed tab. It's just a Bootstrap starter template. And what it does, with one click, you get a little starter Bootstrap template. If you don't have it, just go to your Available tab and type in Bootstrap starter template. It'll pop up there. Just hit the install button. It'll install it. Or if it takes you to their site, you can download a zip file and just drag the zip file here and it'll install it for you. So I'll close that out. Once it's installed, you'll find this in your file menu here, New Bootstrap Template. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it, and there we are. Bingo, it's just made a skeleton for us of a Bootstrap template, and I'll show you what that is. What we want to do is save it. And now I'm going to save it as index.html. You want to save it as index.html, you can call it what you want, but I'd recommend saving it as index.html in your folder because we're going to upload it to a server. And when you browse to a server, the browser always looks for index.html or index.php. So save it as that. There we go. And if I bring my folder over here, I'll just double click on it to open it in my browser of choice, which is Google Chrome here. There it is. Nothing to look at really. It's just got a nav bar, which we probably won't be using anyway, and a little bit of text in there. So let's go back to our brackets. Close out that download tab now. And let's start styling. Well, they've got a bit of inline style here. So because it's one page, I'm going to use this. Normally I'd use an external top style sheet, but I think we'll just use this. And at the moment, it's just giving a bit of padding at the top. And a class of starter template, which is here, which is this text. So what I want to do is put that countdown timer where that text is, basically here, and then perhaps have an image in the background and put my own text in there about my product and have perhaps a logo up here. So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing we want to do is go to this site here, and I'll put this link below. It's www.w3schools.com. That's a lot of W's right there. and they've got this bit of JavaScript written for us, and it's telling it to display a countdown timer in an element. And I'm not going to go deeply into JavaScript here, but basically this is what it's doing. It's doing the math for you, and it's giving you an output here, and it's telling it to display in an element with the ID of demo. So you can either make an element with the ID of demo, they've put one here, or you can call it something else and make it your own there. So let's just copy this bit of script from the opening script tag, the closing script tag including, make sure you don't lop off any of those, back to our brackets. Now style goes in the top, scripts go at the bottom, and we're drawing in JavaScripts from CDNs here, content delivery networks. So we'll put it below the last one there, just paste it, Control V. And there it is. I'm just going to tidy that up a bit by tabbing it across so it's in line. Okay. And we'll save that, Control S. Now if we go back to the site here, see, it's told it to display, I'll just uncheck this, display the results in an element with the ID of demo. And there it is, document, get element ID by demo. So we need to have a document with the ID of demo. Well, like I say, you can change that from demo to whatever you want, but as long as you've got a div or something with that displayed, it's got somewhere to display. So let's copy that, go back to our brackets, let's put that in, let's create a div and put that in just above what we've got here. It's going to be a div with a class, we'll give it a class equals, call it what you want, I'm going to call mine timer, and we'll close it out. And in between there is where I'm going to paste that paragraph text with the ID of demo. So if we go back to our site, above our text there, that little countdown should start. Let's have a look, see. Save that, Control S, and back to the site. There it is. Now it's not very interesting, because we've given it no style and it's aligned to the left. So what I want to do is get it in the middle here and make it a lot bigger. So let's give it some style. Back to our bracket software, go up to our style here. Now if we look at that, it's got the ID of demo, so that's what we've got to target. We scroll back up, because it's an ID, it's got to be hashtag demo, open and close some curly brackets, and inside we want to put the style. Now let's say font size, just guessing 64 pixels, that should make it pretty big. Save that and just see what we've got going on there. I know I'm going to want to put it in the center, so let's just scroll down. I'm going to use a Bootstrap class to do this. So here's the class. I'm just going to add text center to that. So anything inside there will be centered. Save that, Control S, back to our site. Now this should be in the middle here, and it should be a lot bigger. There. Now what I want to do is I want to put an image behind this whole thing, and I'm probably going to turn this text white so it stands out. And I don't really like, see it's got 124 days, 3 hours, 51 minutes and 43 seconds. I'm not too keen on the D, the H, the M and the S there. So let's take that out. And to do that, we can just edit our JavaScript. And while we're down there, we'll put in a date that we want. Okay, so if we look here, set the date we're counting down to. Let's say, just random one, December 18th. No particular reason, 2018. Let's make it 2 o'clock, which would be 1400. Use a 24-hour clock here. Bang on, 2 o'clock. And I want to get rid of those H's and S's and M's afterwards, which if we look down here, display the result in the element with the ID demo. Down here, you'll see days plus a D. So I'm just going to delete that, but I'm going to leave the gap between the commas there because the gap will still be there. Delete that, delete that, and delete that. Now when I refresh, we'll have a different date it's counting down to. Plus those letters after the numbers will not be there. I think what I'll do is put day, hour, minute, second underneath them. So we'll save that, Control S back to the site, refresh, and that will change. Now we've got 228 days, 3 hours, 12 minutes, 36 seconds. That's a bit more like it. Still like to see that bigger and perhaps a little more spaced out. So let's give it font weight of bold, which will make it bigger still, or fatter letters. You can give it a weight, anything from 200 to 700 if the font supports it. I'm just using the generic font with this. You can specify a font family for it if you want to. So let's make that. Back up to our CSS here. Here's the demo. Say font weight bold. And let's put a bit more space between those. And we can't do them individually, but what we can do is say word spacing, which will put a bit of space between them. So word. PACING 60 pixels. That should give them a bit of breathing room there and make them a bit heavier. Quick save, Control S back to the site. There we are, that's a lot more like it. Okay, so that's shaping up there. Now let's put a background image in here. Let's cover the whole thing. So I'll pause this. I'm briefly going to grab an image. Probably go to pexels.com or somewhere where you got free stock photos, and I'm going to grab a little logo as well. Okay, so I've got myself a little image, and all I've done is put the image in here. And as you can see, it's a JPEG, and its dimensions are 124 by 680. You want a reasonable size one because we're going to cover the whole background. And I've just stolen a logo from one of my other sites that I use for demonstration purposes here. It's a PNG, a PNG, portable network graphic, which means it's transparent. And its dimensions are 244 by 80 high. Alright, so let's put this picture in the background here. And we're going to do this with CSS. And that picture was called bk.jpg, wasn't it? So I'm going to put it behind the whole body right here. I'm going to say background. And because it's an image, we've got to specify a URL. So it's URL. Then open some regular brackets. And inside, it's already prompted us because the images are inside the root folder, the same one as the index. So it knows it's there already. So I can just click on that and it'll put it there for us. Fantastic. Now that background image, I want it to cover the whole thing. So I'll say background size. Cover. Let's save that and see what we've got going on now. And when I refresh, that image should be behind all this here. There we go. And I don't know if you can see that our countdown is actually there. But obviously we're going to want to change the color and do something to bring this out so people can see it. So let's have a look, see what we can do. If we go down, now here's our timer. Now what I might do, just take this out of here. I'm going to just rip off this bottom div here and top div there. So now both our text and that countdown demo are inside this thing called timer text center. I'm going to give it a class of text light, which is another Bootstrap class. Might not work enough. I might have to make this white altogether. And let's see what that does. And then I'm probably going to want to target it, put some kind of padding in there to move it down the page. So let's save, Control S, back to the site, and refresh. There we go. Well, that's made it white, so that's a good start. And if we look here, we've got a little section called main. I'm going to wrap this, I'm going to wrap this in an actual section tag. So let's drop this down one and call it section. And my section, I'm going to give the ID, or I'm going to give it an ID of, let's say top. That way, everything that we've got going on there is wrapped in another little container, and which is a section, which is kind of a full width div. And the main, I don't know why they've used main there, but that's okay. Just move this across, take away that bit of space there, keep it tidy. So now we've got all of our timer stuff inside this thing called main, which is the container, and it's also inside a section called top. So with that top section, I'm going to give it some padding and push it down more to the middle of the page, and give it a little bit of padding left and right also. And with this here, we can target it, give it its own padding, and perhaps give it a darker background so it stands out a little bit more. Let's make sure I save that. Control S to save, back to the site. You won't see any change right now. But if I'm using Google Chrome here, so if I hit F12, it'll bring up the inspector, Developer Tools Inspector here. And if I go to the section ID top here, let's see, let's give it a bit of padding. I'm going to use a percentage, so it'll give the same padding on various different size screens. Let's try giving it padding of the first number that I give it's going to be top and bottom. So let's try 15%. Maybe too much. We'll definitely have to give it a bit of background to stand out against that firework there. Just leave it for a minute and have a look what it's like full screen. And left and right, I'll just give it a small bit left and right of say 10% left and right. At the moment, if I leave it at 15, it's going to give it 15 all round. So let's give it 10% because I may want to target these individually on smaller screens. So pull this down a little bit. Actually, that's probably centralization wise going to be about right. So let's just copy this. Remember, we're targeting our section, which is an ID of top. Let's go back to our brackets, back to our CSS. Now, because it's an ID, like demo, we've got to use a hashtag because it's an ID. And it's called top. open some and close some curly brackets and just paste in what we copied from our Chrome browser just there. Pull that back a little bit, get in line. Save that, back to the site, and let's see what we've got now. Alright, well that's okay, but we can't read anything because of the fireworks so much. So let's give it a little black. I can't say it. Let's give it a little black background. So let's target that. Again, let's just use our inspector to see what we really want to do here before we actually write the CSS, which is a great thing about the Chrome inspector here. So let's just right click and get the section we want. And I think the section we want is this timer here. Okay, that's it. Class of timer. So let's give it a background. I'm going to make it black to begin with. Let's see. Just got it black. Of course, that's way too black. We're not going to leave it like that. Don't worry. And let's give it some padding, top and bottom, left and right. It's already got a width going on. So let's give it, say, 100 pixels at the top and bottom. And I'll put a little bit on the side just in case we resize this later on. So let's see, padding. First one, top and bottom. So let's call it 100 pixels. That'll probably do it. And I will put some left and right. You probably won't see anything here because it's obviously got a span going on. So 20 pixels. Two attributes. First one's top and bottom. Second one's left and right. You can do them all individually if you want. So it'll be top, right, bottom, left. But I'm just going to use the two for the moment. So I'm fairly happy with that. Obviously, I don't want it as black as that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that little black square there and give it some opacity, which is the second little slider here. I don't want to give it too much because we want it to be very readable. So let's... I don't know, something like that, B5. Just copy that number in there. Well, we don't need to, it should do it. There we go. Now let's just copy this and add it to our timer class. Control C. Let's go back. We've got a timer. No, we don't have a timer. So it's a class. So it's dot. It's not an ID, which would be a hashtag. It's a class. And it's timer. So if we look down here. There we are. There's a div. There's a class of timer. Open and close some curly brackets, bit of space, and paste in what we just copied from our browser there. And let's just tidy that up again. Save that, back to the site, and nothing should change. Refresh. Okay. Don't know if that's perhaps a little too dark. Everything's standing out okay, so well, it's a little less padding on the top as well. Let's see what we got going on here. I'll click on that 15% up there. Try, what about 10%? Is that going to be not enough, probably? There. I don't know. I quite like that. So let's change that in our style sheet. Back to the brackets. That was at 15%. So we got 10 and 10. Okay, good. Getting there. Now, what I want to do now is, well, let's put in the text that I want to put in here. Obviously, you'll have something about a product launch or a page launch or something. I pre-wrote a little bit of text. Let's just put it in here. So back to our brackets. Scroll down. Here's the text that they've put in for us. So I'm going to put in a title of something really original. Coming soon. How unoriginal is that? And let's have a look, see. I'll put in a date about whatever it is coming. Something fantastic, of course. Now you see the little BR there? That's a break. That just means anything after that will appear on a line below this. So I'm going to grab that and put in what I want right there. Making sure not to clip off that tag there. Now I'm going to put in another line break. And I'm going to put in a contact number and email. Okay. Save that. See what we got. Of course, that would have expanded that little area, the dark area here, because we've got more text now. Okay. It's good. Don't like that being so far over. Probably want to give it a bit more padding. Bring it in a little bit here. So let's do that. Back to our brackets. And that again is within our timer. So let's see if we can change that padding a little bit. Pics. Oh, let's have a look in our Chrome. Let's see if we can change that 20 pics. So I guess that's just 20 pics there. We could make that 100 pics and see what happens. It's going to be too much though. Right click, inspect, pull this inspector up so we can see. And I don't want it actually on P class, I want it on the timer there. There it is. Let's change that to perhaps 50. Oops. Yeah, that's a bit more like it, but not too much. I think if we put it to 100, it'll probably be too much. Yeah, I liked it better at 50, I think. Yeah. So obviously you have yours however you want it. So I'll just change that to 50 wherever we were. There. Time, padding, left and right. Save that. Good. I'll get rid of the inspector, do a quick refresh. Fantastic. Now let's get rid of this horrible nav bar. We don't need any of this stuff. Oh, let's have a look, see. Because we got nowhere to nav to. Do want the brand there. Don't want any of this here because it's links to things and I've got nowhere that I want it to link to. And remember, don't cut off that bottom nav. Let's just undo that. And to find out where that ends, if you're not sure, just click on the top one. It'll highlight the bottom one for you. And let's just delete everything up there to the button. We're going to delete that button also in a minute because that's the hamburger menu button, which is right there. So we don't need any of that. I'll just show you exactly what that is. Save this. Back to the site. If I pull that inspector up again, I'll hit the responsive toggler here. When we go down to a small size, these menu links disappear. I haven't saved and refreshed. And when they disappear, you get this little hamburger menu there. And again, we don't need it because we're not linking to anywhere. If you do, great, keep it, but we don't need it. Let's turn that back off, get out of here. So we'll get rid of that little button too. delete that. Just tidy up a bit of space there. Save, Control S, back to the site. Okay, those are all gone. That search bar is gone. Now what I'd kind of like to do is have that transparent and have this all the way up to the top and have my logo in there. Let's have a look, see. I think that's background dark. Navbar dark background. There we go, background color. So I just need to change that to transparent. Okay, so that's gone now. That's awesome. That's what I wanted. So let's just copy that over. To our CSS. Put it down under the last entry. If you want to do an external style sheet for yours, that's fine. I'm happy to use this for this one page. Let's save that. I'm a little surprised we didn't have to use the important class on there, but that's okay. I'll take it. Let's refresh. Okay, yeah, I thought so. It's come back. So let's force it with the important class. Don't really want to use that if you don't have to, but I think in this case we have to. So that's better. It's disappeared again. Fantastic. So that's looking a bit more like a coming soon page. Fine. All right. Let's just put a little logo in there. Now, I've got a little logo and it's just called logo and it's a png.png file and it's sitting in the root folder with my index. So let's put that one in there and let's get rid of that bit of text in there. Obviously, if you want to change the text, you can use that, but I want to put an image in there. Okay, so I'm going to just open some tags, write image, ing. I've got to give it a source, tell it where it is, src equals, and inside some inverted commas here, whoops. And it's gone to the root folder again and already showed me what's in there. I'm just going to select the logo pane. If it didn't do that for you, you could just type it in manually. And all images want to really have an alt tag, which is just which will read it, and it's great for SEO purposes as well. I'm just going to put logo in there, but you can put a geo location or a keyword or something in there if you prefer. So let's save that. And if you just hover over it, there it is. And I've just saved that from a Bootstrap site I just built. Okay, so that's the logo put in place. Let's put in under our countdown, let's just put in some titles or some underlined titles. There'll be paragraph. Let's give them the class of days. And that's where we'll tell it that it's days, etc. So we've got days, D-A-Y-S, hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay, let's see what that looks like. I think they're going to be too close to each other. Let's save and take a look. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I want those spread out an awful lot more. I mean, they don't have to be centralized in there, but I want them to give the idea that it's days, hours, etc. So let's do the same as we did with this and give it some word spacing and see what happens. And the class is days. So we can, I don't want to give it just to the P, because if I give it to the P, it's going to do it to this and any other paragraph text we got going on. So the class is days, class.days, open and close some curly brackets, and I want to give it some word spacing. In fact, I'll probably use exactly the same as I used there, so let's copy this, put it in there and see what happens. Control S and back to the site. And refresh. There we go, that stretched it out a little bit more. I think that makes it a little more obvious. Could even do it a bit more. Let's inspect and take a look. Days, there we go. Word spacing 60. If I click on it, I can roll my mouse wheel up to increase it. Okay, I mean, we could do it individually and do padding on them, but I think that'll do it actually. What's that, 104? Let's call it an even 100. Yeah, let's call it an even 100. We might want to change that later. So let's go back to our thing and change that to 100. Not 1,000. That's going to be too much. 100. Control S. That's pretty much it. Okay. Save that. Let's go back to the site. Get that inspector out of the way. There we go. I think our coming soon page is pretty much done here. Let's see how responsive it is. So let's bring that inspector up again, and let's make that responsive. Hello, we've got a few issues going on here, I can see. So let's bring it up higher. It's fine, 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 fine. Okay. Okay, so when we get to see where it says days, hours, minutes and seconds, it's starting to break when we get to 793. Try that. Yeah. Okay, 794. So let's have a look here. Let's say just 822, something like that. Put in a media query and take that word spacing down. Well, we can take the word spacing down on both of them. So let's put a media query in of 825. And a media query is something you put in and it tells the browser that at a certain pixel width, at a certain screen size, we want it to do something. And what did we say, 825? I'll spell that right. And 825. I think it was 825, wasn't it? Max width of 825 pixels. We want something to happen. What do we want to happen? Well, open some, close some curlies, and now anything in between here we can put regular CSS and it'll affect it when it happens there. So I want to bring down that days. I want the word spacing on that to be smaller. Bring this here. Let's bring that down to 50 pixels. And also on our demo, I want the word spacing to be that. Less on that. Font size, now I think we can probably keep the same at the moment. Let's take that down to 30 pixels. Let's save this. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't think I want to change those at the moment. Just need to put in the stuff you want to change. Control S to save. Back to the site. Refresh. You won't see anything now, but when it gets below there, spacing between these should go down. Bring it up there. There we go. So when it gets to 825, you'll see the spacing go down between these numbers and also between this text here. There we go. So that's all good. Oh, it's broken again right there. It's a little too much. Right. Now also, what I could do, I've got padding left and right here. I can take that down as well. I might take that font size down a bit as well. So, demo, font size. Let's take that font size down a bit on that smaller screen. 64, let's make it 55. Don't know why. 5 will do. And also, we've got some padding on here at the top. So let's take padding left and right off completely. So let's make that top and bottom, left and right. Take that, make that 0. Save that. Now let's see what we've got. Back up, above 825. Refresh, nothing should happen. And start crawling down. Now it gets at 825. Notice that padding. Okay, we're still okay, we're still okay. It's fine. Okay, it's breaking again. Alright. 5, 7. No, I didn't see padding change. No. I'll check this a minute. So it's not the top. Oh, it's that main container. Right. So I could target that container with a max width of, saying 540 at that particular breakpoint. We're higher up than that though. Oh, it's min width. Okay, so let's try giving it. Let's delete that. Say 90%. 95%. 98%. Gives plenty. There's still a little bit. So let's say, yeah, 98%. And we'll do that under 825. So we don't have to put in another media query just yet. Scoot these across, keep them in line. Save. Back to the site. Refresh. That shouldn't have changed, and it did. See, when we get an 825, that containing area is going to get less. There we go. So it means we can reduce down more, reduce down more. Now it breaks again there, so call it 530. Alright, 530. Let's wait till that goes to double figures. Still okay. So let's call it 530. Let's put in another media query at 530, and that should do it. Now I'm just going to copy all of this. And we wanted it 530. Obviously you can put in whatever media queries you want. I'm just doing this. I'm just going to reduce that spacing a little bit on that. Let's say 30. That I'll leave the same, but I'll take the font size down to say 35 pixels. 36 is a better number. Don't know why. Padding, I'll leave that the same. Didn't seem to affect it a whole lot. Container width that's fine, so I don't need those two at all because I'm not changing them. And always with your media queries, you want to make sure you've got two curlies finishing it, because one is the containing media screen and the one before is whatever CSS you're putting in. Let's try that. Hopefully that'll wrap it up. Okay. So it's at 530, so it's shrinking down. Keep going. Alright, well let's change it, make it even smaller. That's fine. Because we want to make the gap between those a lot less, and between those probably, and that should hopefully fix it. So word spacing for those, let's make that 15, I don't know, let's try 10, that might be too close together. And for these also, make it 10, might be too close together. Take that font size down to 32. See what happens now. Oh yeah, that's going to work. See, it doesn't break until .346. And what we can do to probably alleviate this, we got some padding going on here of what, 50 pixels, was it? Yeah. If we take that down to 10 pixels, that gives it a whole lot more breathing space as well. So that'll take it all the way down. Pretty much. So that's 296. I don't even know if they make a phone that goes that small anymore. So if we look, let's try it on an iPhone. Let's see. iPhone 6, 7, 8. Well, iPhone 5. How big is that? See, it works on there. That's fine. It's not going to get any smaller than that. iPhone 6, 7, 8. It's fine on there. iPad. Let's make it 100%. Yep, that works fine. I just needed to take that padding down. Now, switch it around the way. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I just need to change that padding on the timer on that smaller media query there. So let's do that, and we're finished. I'm going to copy that. Don't need that color because that's staying the same. I'm going to put it here. So it just applies to the smaller media query. Don't need that color, like I said. And we'll change that to 10. And let's change that to sort of 60 or something. Save that. Back to the site. Fresh. And let's get our responsive up again. F12. And we're down. Make that 100% so we can see. Let's make it responsive again. And down to 300. That's fine. I mean, I really don't care about 254. If you're looking at it on a phone that size, well, good luck. Okay, so there we have it. That seems to work. Good. So let's bash this thing live online. So it's online. We'll upload it. So I'm going to go to my server and I'm just going to create a directory and upload it to that directory. Okay, if I just pull this out of the way. Here's our site and here's our folder. And that's the only files we've got in it. We've got our index.html, we've got that logo, and we've got that image of a photo there. And I'm just going to upload these to my online server. That's all you have to do with Bootstrap. It's not like WordPress. You don't have to install anything. I'm going to install it to a subdomain. I'm using FileZilla, which is a free FTP client. You can download it. I'll put the link below here as well if you want to use this. And these files on the left hand side, this is just my computer, and I've navigated to my countdown folder in my computer. And those are those three files, these three files here. And I've created a directory on my server. I've got hundreds of sites on here, so I've just created a subdomain. If you've just got one .com or a domain, you'll just be going to your probably public HTML route. Just check with your provider, but it's really easy. And all I need to do, select these three files, just left click, pull them across. That is it. Now our site should be live online. Let's just get that out of the way. There's our non-live site. Let's go to my website. Here we go. And it's a subdomain, so I just go / and it was called Countdown, wasn't it? Hit enter. There it is. And there's our site live on the internet. So that's how easy it is to create a coming soon page with Bootstrap. It's absolutely awesome. So I hope you found that useful. If you have, please subscribe to our channel and like the video and share the video. If you're interested in web development, take one of our courses below. We've got some great discounts for our YouTube subscribers. We've also got some great free courses down there, so take a look. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.